In the time after King Arthur, the boy who carved ivory ships. Many years ago, a valiant prince of Thule gazed at a ship model carved wondrously of cedar and ivory. The prince, after many moments spent lost in admiration, asks the origin of such a fine piece of work. He discovers that it is the work of a crippled carver of ivory named Gunnar, and so seeks him out to learn his story. Gunnar tells him, "I was an ivory hunter and sailed to the icy north in search of the walrus. We were successful, but then a terrible storm broke, and it was many days before the broken ship's survivors were found. My foot was so badly frozen that I lost it. Later, we were attacked for our valuable ivory cargo, and in the ensuing fight I lost my hand. Now I am but half a man and carve the ships I'll never sail." But the young prince knew of Thule's need for good shipbuilders and hired Gunnar to build full-scale ships. Soon, Gunnar rediscovered his worth and became the finest shipbuilder Thule had ever known. Gunnar implemented many new concepts, and his ships took to breeze and sea like none that had come before. Knighting followed. Many years later, Percival and Ern, upon hearing the terrible prophecies, put every craftsman at Gunnar's disposal, and he began the construction of the great fleet that now sails into the great inland sea. Commanding the ships that he visualized as a boy, Gunnar fights the feared and swift corsairs, plunders the pirate of his plunder, and begins the long process of laying open Europe's soft underbelly. Yes, at last, Gunnar, now senior knight of the Round Table, commander of the Navy, sails the many ships that he carved as a boy. Spain is bypassed, for its barbarian forces are easily cut off by sea power and its own mountainous hem in the northern inland portion. Italy is retaken and will be used as Gunnar's base, for it is undefended and is taken by surprise. Back home, the victory-starved soldiers of the Allied forces rejoice at these first naval successes of the war, for they know that when the sea is secure, then the land invasion can begin. The Mystical Isles. The story backs up slightly. Somewhere to the east of Greece in the Aegean Sea lie the Mystical Isles, forever shrouded and protected by nature's moist embrace of mist and wave. To the far north, the brave men of the Eastern Roman Empire make their last stand at the city that Constantine built. To the southeast, the infidel has taken Jerusalem. To the southwest, the pyramids stand resolute against the sands of time and mock the impermanence of man's frail empires. But here the Vandals land to conquer all. The misty sea itself is infested with barbarian sailors who will aid whatever madman rules with the most power and money. Hidden in the middle of this sea are the Mystical Isles. From her temple on the main island, Aphrodite, goddess of love and beauty, watches in stone as her rapidly growing fleet puts to sea. A flutist sets the tempo as oarsmen pull against the morning winds. Then, when out into the open sea, the sails swell and another day's work begins. Jelaine leads a crew of native mariners that know the sea as well as their mother's breasts. One day, a fleet of pirate ships is seen, bound for occupied Greece and filled with plunder, and the chase is short. Jelaine unfurls vinegar-soaked hides to save against fire on his ships. Cross-cutting through familiar winds, Jelaine slices into the rear of the enemy fleet, thus causing the lead ships to waste time turning about. Archers set their flaming shafts to the sinew, and the untreated wood of the barbarian warships takes readily to the fire. Hooks are thrown onto the wallowing plunder ships so they can be pulled to safety. The pirate soon loses his courage when faced with men that draw theirs from love, kindness, and family ties. Blue, our story moves but for a page back to the great inland sea that separates Europe from Africa. While Gunnar and his fleet attend to the healing of Rome's wounds, the pride of Gunnar's navy, a blue spy ship, follows the trail of the Vandals towards Africa. Yes, the ship is blue. There are not many things in this world that are blue, other than the sky and its reflection in the sea. But the blue spy ship blends with both of them, and as a result is nearly invisible. The sails, once white, have been stained through and through with blueberry juice. The mast is, of course, blue spruce. On its flag flies the bluebird on one side and the bluefish on the other. The ship's bell is in the shape of a bluebell, and the captain's nickname is none other than Bluebeard, the original. Thus the ship blends with and becomes the sea. The ship also carries gray sails for overcast days, but today is azure, and the Vandals are seen landing on the dark continent. Then, from deep within the hull, the captain brings to deck the only thing aboard ship which is not blue, a startling white pigeon, which knows only the mystical Isles as its home. The bird is released as all the sailors cry, "Fly!" The pigeon is unsure at first and circles the ship 3 times before heading in the correct direction. The bird is alone now, overseas it is never known, but all it does know is that there is no place like home and that it must return there at any cost. On its leg is an important message, but the bird is not aware of the band. It only knows that it must land soon or grow weary from flying and drop into the sea. Finally, the first isle appears and the pigeon lands near some of its own kind. It would be nice to stay, but home's magnetic attraction seems overpowering now that the bird is so close. Mystical Isles, Conte. Day after foggy day, Jelaine's swift trireme set forth into the familiar azure Aegean Sea, weaving among the isles, searching for and destroying pirate and Visigothic vessels of war, with underwater rams on strengthened bows to leave the cargo ships without escort vessel protection. The triple-banked ships are a fearsome sight, slashing through the quiet blue sea, oar blades flashing wet in the golden sunshine, spray curling white above the powerful rams, or with large single sails swelling in the soft, warm, misty breezes. Then, homeward bound, comes the protection of the enveloping mist that gives the Mystical Isles its name. So, little by little, the Gothic Turk sea power is whittled away to the point that even the hardiest barbarian will not take to sea. On this day, it is deemed safe to leave the Mystical Isles to the more senior citizens, and Ghislaine's navy sets sail southwest across the Mediterranean Sea, in a fog toward the shores of Africa controlled by the Vandals. This then is the path to victory, for the pigeon has landed and given up its precious message. To protect the Mystical Isles, a mighty chain blocks the harbor entrance to all who might chance upon it by accident in an enchanted sea. The good man cannot be bribed. He is good for nothing.